Okay, now you're wondering, how does all this fit into actually making a toy tank or a toy plane? So this is my Mr. Miyagi version of teaching things, wax on, wax off. There's some examples, so here's how it fits, okay? So I present to you the crane kick. Here, let's look at using all those tricks to produce maybe an example toy tank. Very, very cheap example toy tank. And we'll start with the turret, and we'll go in here and use the insert edge loop tool here. Okay. And I'm going to only use my knowledge of what a turret looks like. I'm not going to look up any references. I'm just going to say, if I take this face at the top, take this face at the bottom, and then I'm going to hit 3, I get this. Now, I can take it and even it up a little bit. Which leads me into the discussion of which axes should I model in. And if this is a tank, I should be modeling in the z-axis as forward. Okay, so this is me looking down on it. Here's the z-axis. That means this is the front of the tank. Alright, so that means, we can go back to 1. I can extrude this face in. Make it kind of a square. And extrude it. And this is where I start teaching you there's a difference between this scale and this scale. So the next thing I'm going to do is extrude it, but I'm not going to use this scale. I'm going to use this scale because I can use it as a uniform scale. In other words, I could scale it from the center out. Okay, so extrude it. Extrude it. Here's where I use the other scale because I can uniformly scale it to the center. Extrude it. Pull it in. Okay, so now I have this thing. Okay, it resembles nothing like a tank until I hit 3, and then it looks sort of like a tank torrent. Okay, what happens though? Well, this is becoming this off this form, it's too smooth. Off this form, it's too smooth, and this barrel is kind of smooth on the inside. So that's where edge loops come in. So I insert an edge loop here, 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 and here. Okay, 3 on the keyboard produces, voila, a tank turret. Ooh. Okay, now I'm all about detail. So, this top tank, this thing right here, I would say, let me uniformly scale it in. Let me scale it, or extrude it down. And let me insert an edge loop here and here. Okay. Also, I'm going to insert an edge loop here. And you can see the difference between an edge loop on an extrude. It's actually on the surface instead of going around the model. Alright, now I got this hole in the center where people can go into it. Need a cap though. Okay, so how do I make a cap for that? Well, I can make a box and try to scale it, but that would be stupid. One thing I could do is grab this face and show you the 5th tool. And that is here. Is called duplicate face. I use this about 99.9% of the time. I love this tool. It's so easy. Just duplicate a face. Drag it up. And then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to extrude it. Now, here's the question. Well, first off, let's take this face right here. Extrude it once and extrude it at the top once. That way I got a manhole cover and not a pizza. So see the manhole cover. Here's the question I'm going to ask you. Should I join these two pieces together? The answer is no. And the reason for that is I want this thing to move. I don't want it put and joined to this model. Even though, if I offset this just a little bit, it looks nice. I could possibly combine it together. Antivirus. On a Mac. So if I combine these together, see, that looks not too bad. That's legit. I would totally accept that as an instructor. Because I would know that maybe down the road you would want to open that up. And you could do that by having it still combined. And then assigning those vertices to a bone in that area if you wanted to. The other way you could do it is separate the two objects and choose this one and this one and parent them together. I don't want to do that just yet. So, I will not be accepting this as a part. You have to, and I will not be accepting this as a part. I will be accepting, however, when you get done, the smooth variation of it, which looks like this. So there's the tank turret. There's an example of shaping out a model. And once it's smooth, I can really go in here and start shaping other things. Like now maybe there is a peg that goes down into the body. Okay. Again, I would ask you, do you think I should connect the body to the turret? And I would say no, because if you did that later on down the road, you would never be able to animate this thing. It could never technically pivot like this. Alright, so please move on to the next video.